We are heading into the Three Sisters Springs on Crystal River. It can have a lot of manatees in it or none. We don't know right now what's going to happen. I was here a couple weeks ago and there were none, but I think we're going to score today because it's really cold.
Come on, let's go. One of my friends teases me that I'm obsessed by manatees, and, well, a little. I keep going back to play. In the past 9 months, I've had some medical challenges after a cycling accident gave me a head injury. There have been some ups and downs, and it hasn't stopped. Through it all, I did what I always do. I kept living my life. It's on me to keep finding my joy and happiness. And I've not had one bad day because I figure I don't have one day to waste, whether I am healthy or otherwise. Life's too short to be stressed. When things got especially uncertain, I started playing with the manatees and they started playing with me. We live in a cynical and sometimes angry world right now, but there is something about baby manatees kissing your face that will melt every bit of ugliness you have ever experienced. And for that one moment, you just feel love. Because they are protected, we can't legally initiate contact with these manatees. But I've had so many baby manatees come right up to me and kiss my face. The first time, one came around me from behind and I was like, oh, hello. The ranger there explained that they have all these rules for contact, but so many of the manatees just refuse to follow them. The unwritten rule is that the manatee has to initiate the contact, and then you can pet it with one hand once they do. Manatees are 100% innocent, whether they are 90-pound infants or 1,200-pound full-grown big mamas. They can't hurt you. They don't want to. They are the ones who are vulnerable, and people are the predators. People run over them with their boat propellers, and almost every manatee I have seen has propeller scars. That includes the babies. If you want to swim with the manatees, you need to do it at Crystal River or its next door neighbor, the Homosassa River. Both are 72 degrees year-round. Manatees head to the Gulf, and then when the Gulf temperature starts to drop below 68, they need to survive in warmer water, so they come back up these rivers to the springs where the temperature is warmer. So our spring-fed rivers, where the temperature is 72 degrees all year long, is a perfect second home for them. You can kayak to the springs and jump in for a swim, or go in with one of the multiple boat tour operators in Crystal River and Homosassa River. There are manatees all year round, but between November and April, especially on cold days, you'll see a lot of manatees. Years ago, my friend Miriam visited from Denver, and she also fell for the manatees. We went together a few times, and I remember snorkeling and hearing this bizarre noise underwater. I thought, I know that's her. Miriam is speaking to the manatees. And I looked, and yes, it was. She was talking to the manatees. I laughed and laughed, but you know the weird thing? When I came back with all of my videos from these recent trips, I heard this faint manatee noise, and it sounded exactly like the noise that Miriam had been making. I don't speak manatee, but I look at them and instantly I feel love. Feel very protective of them too. Our manatees on this Gulf Coast are doing well, but on the other side of the state, in the Indian River Lagoon, manatees are dying of starvation because pollution from farm fertilizer and residential developments has killed the seagrass, and that's their food source. They either need to go to the cold water that will likely kill them, or stay in the Indian River Lagoon where they will starve to death because there's no food. We lost 1,000 manatees because of that last year, and another 100 were killed by boats. There are only 6,000 manatees in Florida. This is a crisis. So if you live in Florida, or if you visit here, see these loving manatees. My favorite way to do this is to kayak over to a spring and jump in, but I just did a trip with Plantation Manatee Tours, and that was awesome. We did 3 springs on our 3-hour tour, and it was so low stress. Definitely a great option. Your third option is to head over to the Crystal River Wildlife Refuge in Crystal River. The boardwalk there leads you right over to the spring, where during manatee season you will see hundreds of sea cows, mamas, babies, daddies. They cross from the Three Sister Springs into the river like they're traveling US 19 at rush hour. It's fascinating, and you don't even have to get wet. So I hope you will visit the Crystal River National Wildlife Refuge or the Homosassa River. What a life-affirming experience that overpowers your stress and puts you in the moment. A few last thoughts here. I made it through a trying period in my life. And, I may actually be out of the woods medically. Not sure, but things are looking way more hopeful. I did learn that the decision to make every day count, no matter what, makes it easier to deal with the hardest obstacles. That's my coping strategy. Let me know in the comments what you do when things start getting rough for you. I love hearing from you. And remember, don't just live vicariously through my adventures or anyone else's. Live. Go out and do it. See you next week.